Oh, the hanging plant is from Hobby Lobby, Jen. I just got wherever you sent that to me from. I saw some kind of notification on my computer. All right, guys. Let me pull my notes up here. So I really wanted to talk about procrastination, and I've started getting. I love doing trainings. If you guys don't know that about me, I know a lot of you guys aren't actually on my team, but I love doing trainings, and I will get just like bursts of like inspiration about certain topics. So literally on the 16th, I was like thinking about procrastination and I was reflecting about it for myself. And that's always where I like to share from are when I do trainings, when I write notes on my phone, there are things that I really want to be telling myself. Because I think one of the biggest misconceptions that people get in this industry is that once you're making a certain amount of money, or once you're at a certain rank, or once you've done a certain amount of years in this industry, that you like have it all figured out and you're super responsible and you do all the things all the time and you just run your business perfectly. And that is the biggest lie ever. So please don't ever think that. I've been doing this for a long time. I've had two really successful businesses in network marketing, and I still find myself being like, Mandy, shouldn't you be doing the things that you train all of the people on your team to do today? Mandy, shouldn't you be doing these things today? Mandy, don't forget that you said this yesterday. So it never stops. And that's where a lot of the times, like when I get on and I talk about certain things, I'm really saying it to myself. I write these notes and I reread them to myself and I give myself these tasks. So just know that. So I was thinking about procrastination, and I was mostly thinking about this because the system that we talked about last time, I've been doing that for years. And sometimes what happens is you get in a flow of momentum where all of a sudden you have a lot of people enrolling, you have a lot of customers coming, people are all pulling the trigger, they're all coming off the fence and making those orders. And you're not having to be as aggressive because your business is kind of moving from all the previous work that you did. But what can happen is subconsciously, we take our foot off the gas. And so we kind of stop doing the system because now it's like, well, everything's moving and everything's working. And then you hit this pinnacle where you start to see things slow down again. And you can sometimes be thinking, like, wait, what happened? Like, I was having all these orders, I was getting all these enrollments. Well, what probably happened was you stopped doing the system because momentum started. And so, because you weren't doing all of those steps, things started to gradually slow down because the orders will come in. Well, now you need new potentials, right? It's why a lot of people in network marketing talk about filling the funnel and always getting new people into your funnel so that you never hit that lull. Okay. So here's what I want to ask you tonight. Really, I want you to ask it to yourself if you're taking notes. Are you tiptoeing? Are you tiptoeing in your business right now? What I mean by that is, are you really only doing half the work? Are you doing the easy things? Are you taking the video of you taking your capsules? Are you putting the posts up? Are you making the funny reels? Right? Are you shouting people out? But like, are you talking to people? Are you doing the second half, the hard work, the part of this business that people often don't enjoy, which is the reaching out to people, right? Are you procrastinating that part of it? Because what can happen, and it has happened to me, you guys, right? It's happened to me. We're like, I'm putting up all the reels. Like, how come people aren't enrolling in my business? I don't understand. My reel to the Lizzo audio last week was so great and nobody enrolled. I don't get it. I put the reel up, I shared it, like 14 people shared it. Nobody signed up. What happened? Right? It's because there's easy work in network marketing, which is the exposures, in my opinion. When we talked about the system last time, we talked about that first step being the exposures. I personally think that's the easiest part, right? Because there's like pretty small chance of rejection when you're just exposing people. But when you actually have to do step two and you have to follow through and send the message or ask the question or be blunt, we forget to do that part sometimes. And when I say forget, I mean, we know we should be doing it, but we keep procrastinating it and being like, oh, I was so busy today. I'll send messages tomorrow. Oh, you know what? I bet she's like in the middle of nap time. I'll ask Sheila about her sample next week when I see her at school pickup, right? We procrastinate and we procrastinate and we procrastinate. And then we wait too long because there really is a window of time in which step two is going to be effective. Okay. I'm going to give you a personal example of this. I got really busy moving the last couple of months, right? So I was slacking, you guys. I was slacking on all of the steps. I'm going to be real because life has seasons. And the season that I was in with moving, it was just like, there were too many plates I was trying to keep spinning, right? I had to put something on the back burner for a short period of time. And part of that was this business. That's the beauty of network marketing. But when I went to start up again and I went to go follow up, I keep my Q potentials list. I went to go follow up. There were multiple messages where I'm like, this is awkward now because it's been 8 weeks and I haven't said anything to you. And now I have missed that window of opportunity where it feels like, yeah, come on, man, this is so exciting. Because now it's like, hey, you remember me? We were talking like 8 weeks ago. Like, how do you re-pick up that message? You kind of have to reference it, right? So like I was sending some messages like, hey, remember we were talking back in December? What? You guys, don't procrastinate, okay? Because you're gonna miss that window of perfect timing, and it doesn't take the opportunity off the table. Those people might still sign up. They really might. But it could also lose you people, and it could also make it an awkward process, right? So this is an industry that requires, I'm reading my notes right now for a second because I wrote these 4 days ago. This is an industry that requires the full cycle of steps. So if you only do the first steps and not the second steps, you're just not going to grow. Okay. It's like a garden. Who has been in network marketing long enough to hear like 7 million people compare this business to gardening? Because I know I have. I am also a black thumb, so it's really not even fitting for me. That's a fake plant. And if it was real, it would not be green. But it truly is a business of gardening. If you were to just go plant your seeds and then do nothing else, nothing's ever going to grow. Nothing's going to grow. It's all going to die. You're never going to get that harvest. So you really do have to make sure you're not procrastinating on the steps that are going to get you to that big harvest of customers and ambassadors that you want. We already talked about that. I feel like the easiest trap to fall into is just staying in that step one and doing the fun stuff. If you don't talk to people and if you aren't just straight up willing to ask for your sale, you're not going to get the partnership. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get the customer. It's never going to go anywhere you want it to go. I actually listened to a podcast years ago from a network marketer at my last company, but who I still follow because she's just really, really brilliant when it comes to this business. And she talked about the fact that we often approach people as if we've already lost them, but we've never even had them. So we're scared to go talk to people because we don't want to lose the customer. We don't want to lose the ambassador, right? We have this like fearful mindset that we're going to lose people if we approach it the wrong way. But if those people aren't signed up, you're not losing anything because you never even got to the point where you had it. So you can't let the fear of losing someone that you've never had scare you away from doing those action steps. You have to shoot your shot and be willing to get turned down. And she did a huge podcast on that, and it was so great because it really is a mindset thing. And I feel like this goes into rejection, which really could be a whole nother topic in itself. It's a lot of mindset work. But I always talk about the needle in the haystack. Like when I'm talking to people, I think it might have been Jen or possibly Becky, someone recently on a call, I was talking to them about the needle in the haystack. The amount of people, I do a lot of work on social media, right? So the amount of people on my social media that are actually going to buy a product from me or sign up to work my business, it would be the equivalent of finding a needle in the haystack. Okay. I'm going to have to go through a lot of pieces of hay before I prick my finger on that needle. Right. And if I knew that I was going to go through all of that hay to find that one little needle, you would be willing to do it. Right. But oftentimes I think we're so scared. We're expecting more fish to come than what are actually going to come. If you go into the mindset of, I'm going to get more rejections than I am going to get yeses. More people are probably going to tell me no than they're going to tell me yes. But you know what's so cool about this industry, you guys? You don't need the hay. You only need the needle. That's all you need to be successful. You don't need the huge mound of people. You don't need the huge mound of customers. The beauty of network marketing is tap rooting. And if you can find your needle in your stack of hay, every needle comes with their own stack of hay, and they're going to duplicate the process, and they're going to duplicate the process, and they're going to duplicate the process. And that's what makes this industry so cool. And it's what makes it capable for everyone. Everyone can do this. because it doesn't matter how many stacks of hay you might have. You're going to run into people who just have these huge networks of connections, right? I'm not one of those people. I'm going to be honest. I'm very outgoing, but I have a small social circle. I always have. When I got into network marketing, I had 250 followers on Instagram and Facebook. They were the same people because it was my graduating class from high school. I did not know people. I didn't. What I got good at was finding people and helping them find their people, and finding someone and helping them find their people. But I had to ask the first person. And I had to know I was going to go through a lot of people that told me no before I got to those yeses, those few yeses. And you can actually, this would be really interesting to see. But like people who are really big in this industry, like Casey at Platinum, I want to say she hasn't personally enrolled less than 15 people. Don't quote me on that because that might be wrong, but it's somewhere around there. It's not some crazy number of hundreds of people, you guys. Casey has not recruited hundreds of people into Q Sciences. She has not. And she would be totally fine with me telling you that. But what she has done is found people who know people. And she's also asked a lot of people because she's not scared to be rejected. Okay. She's not been procrastinating. She puts it out there. If you know Casey, you know this because she's friends with like wallpaper. She just puts it out there and she's not scared to get rejected. Getting a little off track here. So going to go back to my notes. Action is always the solution. Okay. This I remind myself of too. This is like one of those things to put on a Post-it note on your mirror. Action is always the solution. When people are like, I don't know, man. Like I recruited like 5 people a couple months ago and now I can't get anyone. I feel like my business isn't going anywhere. Action's the solution. How are you going to get more people? Action, right? Man, nobody else on my team is working. I just feel like I'm the only one. I feel like my wheels are spinning. Nobody wants to show up. Nobody's in my chats. You know what the solution to that is? New people. You know how you're going to get new people? Action. You know how you're going to get people to be re-involved on your team? Action, because it's contagious. People see you enrolling people. People see you getting customers. People see you in the chats. People see you successful. Guess what they're going to start doing? Action. Yes, Mike, they're going to stay in phase 1. They're going to always be working their own personal business, but it takes the action because the cute reels, they might get eyes on your business, but they're not going to get people signed up. They're not. Your reels don't have your link. Your reels don't have, hopefully they don't have your link. Don't do that. Your reels don't have product info sheets on them. They're not getting people signed up. You have to do the action part. So don't procrastinate it because it is the solution to everything in your business. Always. And you're going to have to start over multiple times. I think that's also a really big misconception. Like starting over is bad. Rebuilding is bad, right? And a lot of the leaders talked about this at convention. If you were in convention, drop me a message in the chat. But they talked about how that's just part of this industry. You're just always building. You're going to have big, huge legs possibly fall off your business at one point. You're going to have people quit. I have had so many people quit. It's not about that because the needle in the haystack, the needles in the haystack are what you're looking for. They're the people who are going to grow your business. So you keep up with the action, you don't procrastinate, and you go find someone else. NO, next opportunity, moving on, finding someone else who's going to work the business with me because it ain't you, babe, right? Like have that mindset. So shoot for rejection is basically what I'm trying to say. And I mean that honestly. I really try and take the emotion out of this business. And I haven't always been that way. And sometimes I have caught myself almost like not having enough emotion, but I think it's helped me in the long run of not getting invested in someone until they're invested in me. Meaning like I could have full-blown I just made a reel about this literally before we got on this training. I could have a full-blown conversation with people where I'm like, this industry is so awesome. I paid off $30,000 of debt. Don't you want to pay off $30,000 of debt? They're like, yeah, show me how to do it. That sounds so great. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's sign up. You're going to be so awesome at this. And then they never talk to me again. I get blocked on Instagram. They unfriend me. All of a sudden, I don't know them. I can't find them anywhere. They went into the witness protection program. I'm like, what the heck, man? I take the emotion out of it. Because if I took it as a personal dig, like I said something wrong or I did something wrong, then what is it going to do? It's going to keep me from doing action again because I'm going to have a little bit of PTSD, right? Oh, last time I did that, like they blocked me. Who cares if they block you? Who cares? First of all, I block people on social media daily. Most of them, I think, secretly want pictures of my toes, but I still block them because I'm just not trying to play that game. But people who block you on the internet, it's not about you. It's about them. When I block people on the internet, listen, I don't want to send you pictures of my toes, block. But like people have the same thing going on about you. It's not you. It's a them thing. It's timing. They want $30,000 of debt paid off with this business too, but you know what they're not willing to do? Work hard. It's not about you. They know that. They want to do this industry, but they are way too hung up on what people think about them. So they block you so that they don't have to see it and they don't have to be tempted with it and they don't have to be all up in their feelings. Go for rejection, you guys. The worst they're going to tell you is no, and who cares? People who unfollow me on Instagram, I'm like, this is a business. I'm on this platform to work a business. I post a lot of stuff on there, but ultimately, I wouldn't have social media if I didn't work in network marketing. Take the emotion out of it and just do the actions. Brooke Lloyd talks about falling in love with the action and not the outcome. That's another way to say basically the same thing, I think. But just do it. Do it anyways. Be like Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Just do it. You will never feel, I skipped a line. This is important. Here's your homework or like what I want you to think about doing, okay? We talk all the time, like people have so many different hours that they work in this industry. Some people are working it full time. Some people are doing an hour a day. I think what happens a lot is we feel like we're working, but like we're not really working. It's very easy in this industry because no one is actually supervising us at all to tell us really what we should do at this time and this time and this time. We don't have a schedule. I want you to challenge yourself to set an alarm on your phone every day. So pick a time. Well, every day that you're working, right? Like if you take Sunday off, don't set the alarm that day. You know what I'm saying though. Set the alarm at a certain time that you can do every single day. Okay. If you're a mom, pick a couple times, pick one of the alarms when they go off and it works for you because we all know how that goes. 20 minutes. When the alarm goes off, I want you to sit down in a quiet room. I want you to set a timer on your phone for 20 minutes and I want you to send messages. I want you to do the action. 20 solid minutes of messages, you guys. Do you know how many messages you can send truthfully if you gave yourself 20 minutes? My average reach out is like 20 to 30 seconds of a voice clip. I suck at math, so I'm not going to do that for you, but that's a lot of messages out in 20 minutes of my day. Boom. There you go. If you have a crazy day, 60. Thank you, Mike, coming in strong with the math. That's 60 messages, you guys. Mike, what is that times 30? If you did that for 30 days, 180 people is who you're going to reach out to. You're probably going to get a yes out of that, somewhere in that 180. Okay? You're probably going to get a customer if you did 20 minutes of action messages a day. That's my challenge to you. I want you to find that somewhere in there because you are never going to feel more accomplished than you do after you make yourself do that. Okay. If anybody's ever done like a blitz challenge, I know Jen's been asking me to do another one of these and I will, I promise, trying to get settled in my house. But I really love like 72-hour challenges, or like I call them hustle chats is what I call them. Honest to God, when you really, I cannot get my phone to balance. I'm like struggle busing over here with my notes. There we go. Maybe it'll stay. When you actually come up from air and you send all of those messages, you feel so accomplished, you guys. You really do, because you know what? You're like, oh my gosh, like people are responding to me now. I think we forget. I really do think we get on this hamster wheel and we're not actually doing the nitty gritty. So then when we do and we start seeing the outcome, even if it's not people signing up, but like you're in conversations, you're talking about products, you're putting people in three-way chats, you're sending some infographics, you're like, oh, I have potentials. You're going to feel so good. And after a 30-day stretch of this, when you have 180 messages out, let's say half of them ghost you. That's still 90 people I just did math. That's still 90 people that you're talking to right there. Listen, I work in this industry because it didn't need a college degree. Okay. Truly. So set your timer and try to do that every single day. And honestly, blunt messages at a certain point. Like, don't just go up to people and be like, hey, I sell these greens. Are you going to order some? But that's awful. Don't do that. But like, get blunt. Try not to beat around the bush. I think women suck at this more than men do. I'm going to call us out for a second. I think we get nervous sometimes when we're in these messages and we're like, oh, and also, how's little Susie doing? Is she like in kindergarten? No. First of all, you might, but like, I don't really care if little Susie's like in kindergarten, and she might be my own kid. She just goes to school. Okay. Don't do that. Just be blunt with your questions so that you get the yes or the no. The yes or the no is calming. It's closure. When people tell me no, I feel fine. I actually feel good about no's. I enjoy when people tell me no. Do I enjoy it when they tell me yes more? Absolutely. But I like when people tell me no because it lets me bless and release them. Okay, you're not interested. I'm going to take your name off my potentials list. You're now just a friend. I'm just now going to like your pictures and your stuff for fun. I feel closure in that you're not interested. Thank you for telling me no. Okay, so go for no. The best, okay, so this is a little bit of a shift, but I wanted to tell you guys the story before we get off. The best advice I've ever received in this industry was from a very close friend of mine at my last company. She joined after me and blew past me. I mean, literally, it was insane. We went on we both earned this trip at one point. It was a trip where in 1 month, we helped the most people hit promotions in the whole company. Only 30 people earned it a year. It was a huge deal. We had basically, like, it would be like builder, like how many people you helped go builder. We had the most people in 1 month in the whole company. So we got to go on this trip, and that's where I met her. And I just fell in love with this girl. I was like, oh my gosh, you surround yourself with the people you want to be like. That was the girl I was surrounding myself with. I was like, she knows what she's doing. It would be like the equivalent of a Brittany Hitch. I somehow ended up in the same room as her. And I was like, listen, we're going to be friends. And then we were, because I forced my friendship on her. And I would ask her all the time for advice, like blunt, like, listen, you're not connected to me. I'm not connected to you. Can you give me advice? Like, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm doing all the things. Does anybody else, like, you have that moment? And I'm like, I'm doing all the things and it's not moving. What's happening? And this is what she said to me. She said, it's not what you're not doing. It's how much you're not doing. You're not doing it enough. You're not doing the messages enough. Your messages are great, Mandy. You're not sending enough of them. Your posts are good, but you're not doing enough of them. And I don't ever want to come off as hustle culture. Okay. That's not me. I'm not about that. I feel like hustle culture is not sustainable. What I am saying is sometimes the outcome you want needs a little bit more than what you're putting into the pot. Just a little bit more. It might not be that you're doing anything wrong. Don't overanalyze what you're doing. Action is always the answer, but you might just not have enough action. So take a cold, hard look in the mirror. Like, okay, I put up some really great reels this week. How many messages did I actually send? How many people did I actually talk to? How many times did I actually go through? I know some of you guys are in-person builders. Mike's like right to my left right here, but I'm a social media girl, so bear with me there. How many times did you actually go through the list of people who are watching your stuff and talk to them? How many times? Are you doing it enough? Or are you just doing the easy steps, right? And not the cold, the hard, nitty-gritty, going through the hay work. Okay. There are 9 million tips and tricks that people are going to give you online. Okay. And I am not even going to get on my soapbox with this because I could. There are people everywhere on the internet that want to tell you they are social media gurus. They are network marketing geniuses. They are going to sell you the handbook, baby, and you're going to have success. Really, you have to talk to people. The ultimate truth in this industry is, wait, what in the world did I write here? Oh, is numbers. It's numbers. Sorry. I'm like reading my own notes like, wow, I was really on one. What was I saying? It's a numbers game. It really is. It really, really is. Because now, again, I'm not a math girl, so I'm going to read this word for word because I wrote this out trying to sound mathematical. If you asked 5 people about your business this week, you're only giving yourself 5 chances, right? You're talking to people, but you're only giving yourself 5 chances, right? So that's 5 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are they going to say yes or no? And then what's the outcome? And really, out of 5 people, it's a very high chance all 5 of them are going to say, pass, right? I said pass for a whole year before I did this industry. But if you talked to 500 people, maybe not in 1 week, but if you talk to 500 people, that's 500 chances. If you talk to 5,000 people, that's 5,000 chances. The more people you talk to, the more chances of getting a yes you're giving yourself. So when people are like, oh, like that's a lie, your upline tells you that it's all a numbers game. No, it is all a numbers game. Because if you don't talk to enough people, you're just not giving yourself enough chances to even get the yes. Are there other pieces to this industry? Yes. Are there good and bad ways to approach people? Yes. Are there like pros and cons and things you should never put on the internet or never say? 100%. But ultimately, it comes down to how many chances did you give yourself to have growth in your business this month? I would track it. If you're like really serious, I would be like, have a little piece, a post-it note, even number it 1 through 30. And at the end of the night, you write down how many messages you sent that day, how many new conversations you started that day about your business, and give yourself 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, you're really going to be able to assess like, okay, how many people am I really talking to each month? And what's the outcome I want? Right there again, this is a huge sliding scale because some people want to be platinum and some people would be really happy being elite. And both of those are successful and wonderful outcomes. Okay. Success is perception. It's different for everyone. So if you're not trying to be platinum, you maybe don't need to contact 30 new people every day. Maybe 5 people a day is great. Maybe 3 people is great. Maybe 1 new person each day is really great for your goal. But if you do that 30 days and you actually look at how many new people you've talked to, you're going to be able to assess your likelihood of getting to that needle in your haystack. How long is it going to take you? Right? 5 messages a day, 10 messages a day. You're going to get through your hay in double the time with the ladder, or half the time. Goodness gracious, man. I need to go to bed, guys. So all of that to say, stop procrastinating. It's holding you back. You know what to do. This is not a hard industry. Listen, if it was difficult, guys, I would not be here. I would not have a paycheck that comes to me regularly. You've all seen me do math now. It is not rocket science. It's simplicity, but you have to do it. You have to show up and do it. And nobody is going to hold a gun to your head to make you do this business. Nobody's going to force you to get on these trainings. Nobody's going to force you to go to convention. You might get like maybe some, passive aggressive comments, but nobody's actually going to make you do the things. You have to be the person. So don't waste your time getting stuck in the easy work, the posts and the reels and the fun stuff, right? Even these trainings, like, listen, I'm so happy you're here tonight. Like I'm talking to faces and not just myself on Zoom. But if you only ever showed up on the trainings and you never sent a message, you're not going to grow a business. You're not. So if you only have 20 minutes in the day to do your business, I hope you're not getting on my training. And I hope you're spending that 20 minutes sending messages to people and starting new conversations and sifting through your hay to find the needle. Because once you do, it's going to create that ball rolling in your business that you want. So now you have a whole new network and whole new people and someone else to show up and do that hard work with you to where you don't feel like you're doing it by yourself. Okay. I hope this was helpful. These are all truly things I wrote down to reread for myself. So know that it really is me talking to myself. It's okay if you look at yourself and you're like, haven't been doing it. You're human. Write yourself a reminder, set an alarm in your phone, put a post-it note on your mirror, put a post-it note on your dash, put a post-it note on your door in your coffee pot, put reminders everywhere because life is crazy and sometimes you need them. I hope you guys have a really, really wonderful week. I'm so excited. Let's make some money. Bye, guys.